Have you ever felt like no matter how much you do, nothing really moves? You wake up early, you make lists, you run all day, you check every box, and yet at the end of the day, the end of the month, the end of the year, the same feeling is still there. Emptiness, exhaustion, and a question that burns quietly inside. Why am I still in the same place? Modern life pushed us into a trap disguised as productivity. We were taught that doing more means being worth more, that sleeping less means being more successful, that being exhausted means you're advancing, that a packed calendar is a symbol of power. But no one told you the most important truth. You could do a lot and still go nowhere. You could be busy and be completely lost. You can run fast without having any idea where you're going. And even if you don't say it out loud, you know it because you feel it. You feel like you give everything, but you don't find yourself. You feel like you try hard, but you don't feel fulfilled. And deep inside, there's a voice whispering something no one ever taught you. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. This video is for you if you've ever looked at yourself in the mirror and felt you can't keep living like this. If you've ever asked yourself in silence, what if I'm putting my energy into the wrong things? Today, you're not getting empty motivation. Today, you're going to hear something different, something that transforms, a silent code that has guided the wisest minds throughout history. The spiritual art of doing less and achieving everything. Not because you use magic, but because you learn to release what is unnecessary and dedicate your soul only to what is essential. And when that happens, your life changes forever. There is a silent law no one teaches in school, a truth the great ones didn't discover in books, but in the chaos of their own lives. Success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from focusing your soul on what truly matters. And to do that, you need to understand something that will change how you live, work, and think. There is an ancient principle, one that doesn't only apply to business or time management, but to your soul, your energy, your purpose. It's called the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. It says this: in almost every area of life, 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. The rest is noise, wear and tear, distraction. Not everything you do carries the same weight. Not every task brings you closer to your dreams. Not every relationship helps you grow. Not every decision deserves your soul. And here's where everything shifts. Your power is not in multiplying yourself. Your power is in reducing yourself, in letting go of what drains you, and placing your heart only where fruit is produced. In this video, we're going to explore this principle, not as another theory, but as a way of life. You'll learn how to clear your path, how to release the superficial, how to clearly identify that small 20% that changes everything. And when you do, you'll realize something profound. It was never about doing more. It was about doing things with soul. From childhood, we were taught a dangerous idea. If you're not doing something, you're wasting time. We grew up believing our value was measured by how full our calendar was, how many tasks we completed, how many hours we slept less than others. And without noticing, we turned life into a race with no finish line. Fatigue became a medal. Disconnection became a lifestyle. We told ourselves things like, I have to stay busy to be successful. Sleep is for the weak. I'll rest after this project. But that after never comes. And every time you look at your calendar, you realize something painful. You're not living. You're surviving. Modern productivity sold you a model of success without peace. It taught you to fill every empty space, to say yes to everything, to answer messages at all hours, to prove your worth through action, even if it empties you inside. And the cost is enormous. Relationships break because there's no presence. A body begging for rest that never comes. A mind so saturated it can't tell what truly matters. A soul that stopped feeling alive because everything is postponed. Here's the truth few people dare to face. Being busy is not the same as being productive. Doing many things is not the same as moving forward. Giving everything is not the same as hitting the target. The most dangerous trap is not laziness. It's hyperactivity without purpose. It's filling your life with tasks, so you don't have to listen to your emptiness. And the saddest part? We do it with good intentions. We want to grow. We want to move forward. We want to prove we matter. But we're using the wrong map. It's not about how many hours you work. It's about how aligned you are with what truly matters. It's not about being busy. It's about being focused. You don't need more effort. You need more clarity. And that clarity begins when you stop running out of obligation and start walking with direction. Real productivity is not measured by what you do, but by what you decide not to do anymore. And that's where true transformation begins. There are moments in life when one idea wakes you up, not because it's new, but because it reminds you of something you already knew deep down and completely forgot. That idea is this: not everything you do has equal value. This is where one of the most powerful principles ever discovered enters your life. The 80-20 principle. It tells us 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. 80% of your personal growth comes from a few key decisions. 80% of your income likely comes from a small group of activities. 80% of your mental peace comes from a few people, habits, and moments. The rest is noise. It keeps you busy, but it doesn't transform you. It exhausts you, but it doesn't build you. It feels urgent, but it has no real impact on your destiny. If you look honestly at your life, you'll see it. Not every book you read changed you. Maybe one or two did. Not every conversation mattered. Maybe one shifted your entire vision. Not every effort bore fruit, but one action changed everything. That is the 20%. That small percentage that truly moves your world. And once you identify it, you're free. Free to stop trying to please everyone. Free to stop trying to do everything. Free to stop running like you're about to miss something. Here's the most powerful key. You don't need to change your entire life. You only need to identify what part of it is truly valuable and multiply it. That's what the wise do. They don't scatter themselves. They don't burn out. They focus. And that's why they achieve so much with so little. Not because they're smarter, but because they learn to live aligned with what matters. And you can do this too. You can reclaim control of your time, your energy, your focus, and direct it only toward that 20% that produces results, peace, and purpose. When you do that, everything else begins to organize itself naturally. Look at your schedule. Look at your days. Think about the last full week. How many hours were you busy? And how many of those hours actually moved you closer to what you desire? Most people don't fail because they lack effort. They fail because they lack direction. Time is rarely lost in big mistakes. It's lost in small daily habits that seem harmless, but slowly pull you away from your purpose. Checking your phone dozens of times a day. Jumping from task to task without finishing anything. Filling your life with meetings, but leaving no space to think. Responding to everything, except what truly matters. Let me be clear. Your time is sacred. If you don't protect it, the world will take it from you. Only a small fraction of your day creates most of your results. The question is, do you know which fraction that is? If you don't, your energy scatters. And when energy scatters, life becomes heavy. Maybe it's 2 hours a day when you can create without interruptions. Maybe it's early morning when your mind is clear, or late at night when ideas flow freely. Whatever it is, you must identify your golden time, that 20% that produces 80% of value. And once you find it, you must protect it. This is not about doing more. It's about reserving your best energy for what truly transforms. Here's a simple but powerful exercise. First, for one full day, write down everything you do, every task, pause, and distraction. Second, at the end of the day, circle 3 things that made you feel real progress, clarity, or growth. Third, look at everything else and ask, what can I release? What only keeps me busy without moving me forward? What can I delegate, automate, or eliminate? You'll see it clearly. You don't need more hours. You need better focus. And when you organize your life from this perspective, everything changes. You wake up knowing what matters. You feel lighter because you're no longer carrying what's unnecessary. And at the end of the day, you're not exhausted. You're fulfilled. That is real productivity. That is living from the 20% that transforms destiny. And if you protect that sacred time daily, something extraordinary happens. You achieve more by doing less. You live better with less weight. Because what changes your life is not how many things you do, but the quality of what you choose to keep. Now look at the people you spend the most time with. Ask yourself honestly, who lifts you and who drains you? Just like a small part of your time creates most results, a small part of your relationships defines your peace, your energy, and your future. The 80-20th principle applies here too. 80% of your growth, peace, and inspiration likely comes from 20% of the people in your life. The rest are emotional noise, obligations, habits, routines, or people who stayed even though they no longer align with who you're becoming. You don't need to cut everyone off. You need to recognize who deserves your energy. Ask yourself, who can I be fully myself with? Who pushes me to grow? Not through criticism, but through example. Who leaves me clearer after a conversation, not more confused? Maybe you can name only 2 or 3 people. That's enough. You don't need many people. You need the right people. That's your sacred 20%. Every interaction leaves an energetic trace. And if your environment is filled with doubt, comparison, or negativity, you slowly dim without noticing. Here's another simple exercise. Write the names of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Next to each name, write one word. Recharge or drain. Inspire or limit. Help me grow or keep me small. This isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. You can't control who enters your life, but you can choose who stays close. Every time you choose to stay near someone who makes you better, you accelerate your evolution. Now let's talk about habits. Your life is not transformed by big changes. It's transformed by small actions repeated daily, often unconsciously. And here's the truth. You don't need more motivation. You need better habits. Not all habits carry the same weight. 80% of your well-being may come from 20% of your habits. Think about it. What do you do that truly reconnects you to yourself? Maybe it's 10 minutes of writing in silence, a walk without your phone, reading one page before bed, stretching with intention, deep breathing in the morning. You don't need a perfect routine. You need to identify the few habits that elevate you and protect them. Those small rituals become anchors. They bring you back to yourself. They hold your energy when the world tries to drain it. At the same time, observe the habits that steal from you. Checking social media the moment you wake up. Eating without hunger, driven by anxiety. Saying yes out of fear of discomfort. They seem small, but they pull you away from your center. Make 2 lists today. 3 habits that recharge you. 3 habits that drain you. Then ask, how can I strengthen the first? How can I reduce or transform the second? You don't need a radical change, just a conscious one. Because when you are well, your life organizes itself. And when you're exhausted, everything feels heavier, even success. Start small. 5 minutes for yourself. A cup of coffee without distractions. Silence before sleep. These decisions don't just improve productivity. They bring you back to yourself. And that return is where true success begins. Here is something no one taught us. Letting go is also progress. We live accumulating tasks, objects, expectations, relationships. We cling to what no longer works because we're afraid of what might happen if we release it. But here's the truth. Most of what weighs on you today has already completed its cycle. Not everything that brought you here can take you to the next level. That includes beliefs, habits, excuses, and responsibilities. Real progress often looks like less baggage, not more effort. Letting go is a spiritual act. It's saying to life, I trust. I don't need to control everything. I choose to move lighter. Ask yourself, what weighs on me? What pulls me away from myself? What do I do out of obligation, not conviction? Write 3 things you know no longer belong in your life. Then decide, what can I eliminate? What can I reduce? What can I transform? Life doesn't reward you for carrying more. It rewards you for living lighter. And when you release what no longer resonates with you, the empty space is not loss. It's preparation. Preparation for what's real, for what's aligned, for what truly belongs to you. Now close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a life where you're not running. where you're not proving yourself every day, where you choose intentionally, a life where you do less, but everything you do builds you. That life is not far away. It's one decision away. You don't need to do everything. You only need to do what's essential. What's true? What matters? Take a piece of paper today and write 3 things. One habit that recharges you. One relationship that nourishes you. One activity that connects you to your purpose. Then ask, how can I give more space to this in my life? If you made it this far, it's not an accident. Something inside you is waking up, and it deserves to be heard. Write this in the comments as a declaration, not for me, but for yourself. I am ready to do less and achieve everything. Because your life doesn't change when you do more. It changes when you do what truly matters. And today, that new path begins with you. Napoleon inspires.